seeing some other man like in front of you, like, wow, this guy makes this much money per month. Like, why the fuck am I not doing that? It's like, that guy's not better than me.
What's a tip that you can give for someone like just getting into the industry?
If you're a man like looking to make money as quick as possible, get to 10K per month, absolutely, home service is like the best way to do that. So
have you spent a large amount of money on coaching?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent like over 40K or so.
Wow.
Just buying that one book. Learning just one little tip from headlines has made me like tens of thousands of dollars.
How much money is a lot of money for you? Like, you're ambitious, you want to make money, but how much money do you want to make? That's one of the biggest life hacks, is you can go from idea to lead generation in hours. Spencer Claeys. If you don't know who he is rocking the home service industry by teaching thousands of other people all across the world how they can become successful home service business owners. Pressure washing, roof cleaning, gutter cleaning, window cleaning, simple home services that anybody can do. We're going to do a deep dive into how he grew his business, how he got his start, the secrets to success, mindset, fitness, and so much more. Before we get into the podcast, take a second to subscribe to this channel. Take a second to subscribe. We're going to be bringing on amazing guests onto the A-Lister show, and I can't wait to share their journeys and their stories with all of you. Without further ado, here is Spencer Claeys. How was your trip down from Seattle? You drove from Seattle to San Diego?
Yep. Yeah, we got here yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay.
like 1,000 miles, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
Did you stop any place along the way?
Yeah, it took us like a whole week and so to get here. So we stopped like, pretty much every night. Just like we went down the Oregon coast, Northern California coast, and that's where obviously you know where that is. So.
Yeah.
But she's got some family like my wife has over in Central California. So yeah.
That's one of the funnest things to do. Go down the coast from California all the way down. Take your time.
Yeah. Taking time is just like we got the Tesla now, so you kind of got to like stop it like every 2 hours. So
I got the Tesla too, so I mean, it's kind of hard to make quick trips with the Tesla.
Yeah, but I like it too. I mean, like, because we drove to Mexico like last year, and we did it in like 2.5 days. Like, it was fucking insane. Like, we drove like through the night. Like, me and my father-in-law, we didn't stop at all. I was like, this kind of sucks. Like, I'd rather get there like a couple days later than like speed it out as quick as we can. So But
have you been to San Diego before?
No, this is my first time.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, San Diego is an amazing place.
Yeah.
My business is in Humboldt County, right? So it's very similar in weather to you in Seattle.
Yeah.
It's like misty and foggy and cold all the time, and so my business is there, but I live here, so I kind of manage it all remotely. But I miss the sunshine, so that's why I'm down here now.
That's the move. I'm like, shoot, do I need to go over here? Because like. I mean, we're probably going to move out of Seattle and like manage it a little bit more remotely because there's like places in like Central Washington, like, I mean, just house prices and like just living in the city, the crime and just up there is it's cold. I'm just like, there's like no reasons to live here except making more money. But it's like now we can do so much shit online and we can manage things remotely. It's like, why would I be in the city when I can make the same money but be in like a way nicer area, nicer house, like especially like, like you just got married, having a family now. So it's like, don't want to raise kids in like, I don't know, downtown area. So.
Yeah. Now, you have a pressure washing business. I mean, I guess an exterior cleaning business.
Yeah.
Do you have employees or do you do a lot of the work yourself? Because I see you on social media doing the work, but do you also have employees?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of that, like most of the content of me, like doing it, that's from like a year or two ago. I haven't done as much work in the last like year or so. So now I got like 2 full-time guys. And so, I mean, they're working right now. Ben, I think, is doing like a $900 job today. So it's been good. Yeah. Getting other guys, like some of my best buddies to get the work done. It's been awesome. So yeah, outsourcing. I kind of was like, saw you. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. It's just like you can just live somewhere else, but like manage the business. I was like, yeah. I mean,
well, I did it by default because I started my business when I had a full-time job. I started my business as a TikTok joke, pretty much, like doing one of those side hustle videos.
Yeah.
And it went like super viral, got like 7 million views. And so I'm like, well, I guess I should probably do a few more of these. And so I started making some more content. And then I had a full-time job, though. So I had to have the employees do the work from day one. And so that's what allowed me to easily be able to step back, is I never really was super like involved in it. And my specialty is in like marketing and doing the whole like operation side of it. And so I focused on what I did best, and then I hired people to do what they did best. But in any kind of business, I think before you hire somebody, you have to know everything about that thing.
Yeah.
so many people try to like hire and without knowing how to do things themselves, but how can you train someone to do something if you don't know how to do it yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna have to pay them a lot more if you're more or less hiring like another team to do it. Like so. But yeah, I mean, that was a struggle that I had for the longest time. Was like, oh, when I'm the best at doing this, I can do like provide the best quality work. And I mean, but you quickly learn like, okay, what does every single business on the planet do? They have qualified people. I mean, Elon Musk isn't out there building the Teslas himself. Like he's got other people doing it, and I mean, it allows him to work better and faster. So
people have a hard time letting go also because they think that, well, I'm the best at this.
Yeah, it's kind of ego based too. You realize like you're not like that great at it.
Yeah, and you're like, well, like. Cleaning a roof doesn't exactly take a rocket scientist. It takes someone that, it's trainable, right? And so your job as a leader of a company tends to be, how can you put in processes and systems to be able to train somebody else to do what you do well?
Yeah.
I mean, people train in much more complicated tasks, and so like software engineering, other things. So why can't you train someone to do a roof and you step back and focus on, growing the business? And so many people think that only I can clean the roof this way or whatever. So
yeah.
Tell me about your fitness. I saw you put up 225 21 times the other day. What the hell?
Oh yeah, yeah.
How big is fitness and like going to the gym for you?
Yeah, I mean that was kind of like one of my first like real loves was just fitness, and I almost tried to do like the like online training and stuff, but then I was just like, I just couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't talk to like another thing that I really like about like the business we do now, like home service. Is like I'm working with customers that I genuinely like. They want to keep their house clean. They take pride in their home. And like with fitness, maybe it was also my marketing wasn't really great, but I was attracting like, just fat, overweight people who are lazy. And I was like, I don't want to work with these people who are just like I'm literally getting questions on there like, how do I drink more water? And it's like a 40-year-old woman that's like asking me that. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so I didn't like training people, but yeah, I mean, I've been lifting for the last like, Steven asked me, he was like, I think it's been like 12 years now I've been lifting. So
wow, that was impressive. Do you feel like lifting is an important part of being like overall successful person? You see a lot of people, a lot of really successful people are really into fitness. So do you feel like that's part of your overall well-being as well?
Yeah, I mean it's a system like anything. It's just like can you and I've been really thinking a lot more about recently about anything that's like quick dopamine, like you probably shouldn't be doing it. Like anything that tastes good, feels too good, or like watching even TikTok, any short dopamine is the enemy. So like fitness, like working on your business for those long hours, like grinding, just focus on the process. But I remember Hebron was talking about like spiking dopamine during like while you're at the gym or while you're like doing a hard task, like, writing something like, so that's really the key. Cause obviously, I mean, most people, they just chase the quick dopamine and they never get anywhere in life. They don't have any. They're fat. Most people are broke. Like it's just most people are just they have not figured it out for some reason. So it's pretty funny.
How do people avoid those short spikes in dopamine? Because obviously it's attractive for a reason. But how do you, for example, find a way to forego the short-term pleasure for the long-term gain?
Yeah, I mean it comes down to I feel like you got to know yourself really well. Like I was never like diagnosed, but like everyone's like, oh yeah, you have like major ADHD. So I'm always like, I have to really curate my environment. Like I cannot have notifications on my phone. I can't like have like noises when I'm working. Like I have to go to a certain place. And like, at first I was like, oh, why can't I do this? Like, why am I like getting distracted? And I was like, okay, well just set up your environment. Like if you need to go somewhere quiet, like find and like turn off your phone. Like if you need to put your phone in another room, like if you find yourself picking it up, it's just like, okay, well what is like causing you to like go down, or another thing too would be like if you're eating cookies all the time, put the cookies like up on the fridge, like behind something where you can't even see them. Like that's something that I've just kind of like instinctively was like, okay, if I can't see the cookies, I'm not going to eat them. Yeah. So like most people just like they'll leave them on the counter, they'll have their phone out. So I mean, just people get caught really easily in these little webs. I mean, there's billions of dollars spent on like trying to get this shit in front of us, like there's literally teams of like scientists, like how they can like engineer the most attention getting apps, like the most enticing labels for food, like how they can get it like stimulating your brain as much. So like you got to be kind of aware that there is a battle going on for your attention and for comfort, and you got to like fight against that. So
yeah. And one of my favorite thoughts is about how if you're addicted to something, like let's say you're you're alcoholic, well, if you have a bottle of alcohol at the house, the chance it's almost impossible for you not to drink that alcohol. But let's say you go to the desert for 5 days. Well, now it's also impossible for you to drink because there's just no drinks in your environment. So that one kind of extreme example where, you know, if you change your environment, then it has an infinite impact on your well-being and who you are. And so the same thing goes with everything. You know, if you're in a room full of an inner circle, if you're in an inner circle full of people that are doing amazing things and accomplishing great things, well, you're more likely to be successful. And that's just the facts of your environment.
Yeah.
What I've been trying to do is find ways that I can tailor my environment. For example, I got an accountability coach. I meet with somebody every single week. We talk about my goals for the week, the previous week, what I'm going to do, what I accomplished, why didn't I accomplish certain things. I also have a coach for my business, someone that specifically has accomplished multi-million dollars in the home service space. And so I meet with this person every single week. We talk about what needs to be done. And do you have a coach for yourself?
Yeah, I got two. I'm in like 2 masterminds right now.
Tell me about that. Tell me about some of the masterminds, because I'm fascinated by this coaching. And Mike Barron, you know him?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Steven, I think, had mentioned that he's in this program too.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. So, you know, he focuses on teaching people how to charge high ticket prices for their, you know, but the whole thing is like, you know, he's a very successful person. He has coaches too, and we all kind of need coaches. But tell me about kind of like your inner circles and your mentors and who's kind of guided you.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I like to say this too, that like information isn't really that valuable anymore. Information's free. It's infinite. You can go on ChatGPT and Google. There's all the information that's ever existed in the world, but it's really just like seeing some other man like in front of you, like, wow, this guy makes this much money per month. Like, why the fuck am I not doing that? It's like, that guy's not better than me. He's like not smarter. So I think really, especially men too, we're competitive. Like you train like martial arts and stuff. I mean, I've done jiu-jitsu for a while too. And it's just like that competition, like men with testosterone, like we need that. Mm-hmm. So like people are just like hanging around the wrong people who just, I mean, it all ties together. Like who are you hanging around with? Like, what are you putting into your brain? What are you putting into your body? But yeah, as soon as like I invested into like my mind and like being around better people, like that's just when all the quantum leaps just happened with my business and like with my lifestyle. So definitely.
Have you spent a large amount of money on coaching?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent like over 40K or so.
Wow.
So I think last year in like the span of like a month, I bought 2 like 10K programs too. So I was telling my wife, I was like, oh yeah, just spend like another 10K. And she was like, what the fuck? And I was like, it's fine, you know. And then the next month we hit a record month. So it's like, shoot.
How do you justify, like how did you justify making that first purchase for like one of those $10,000 coaching programs? I mean, once you buy one and you realize that it's giving you some kind of success, but for that first time dropping like 10 bands on information or access, how do you justify that? What was that like how did you make that decision that first time?
Yeah, I think the first one I did was probably the most expensive still. It was like $12,500, and it was just like, I remember just like, okay, most people, and like once you learn sales too, you learn that like there's really any sale, it's just a matter of trust. Like they either don't trust you or they don't trust themselves. That was the biggest one, because oftentimes they see you like, oh, like obviously he's making money, like he's got students making money, but it's like, shoot, I don't know if I can do it. And so I always had like really high trust in myself. So I'm like, okay, if I see this guy's doing it and I trust myself, like I feel like this is a no-brainer. Because even like, I don't know, there's a book called like Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. It's like an older book, but that book is like out of print. So the only way you can order it is like, it's like a $200 book now. So like, but just words on a paper, but like just buying that one book, I mean, that like learning just one little tip from headlines has made me like tens of thousands of dollars. So it's like, you can't really put a price on like certain, I mean, I did mention that some information is like infinite and like not valuable, but like in the right context and when you pay for it, it's just worth so much more. So I don't know. And I really do like things that like people don't really like. Anything that like in life that other people aren't doing, you should probably be doing that. Like if people aren't reading, if people aren't buying this certain book, if people aren't investing in this, like you probably should. Like, you know, everyone kind of looks at you like you're crazy when, oh yeah, I just spent like 2 years of college tuition on like a 4-month program. They're like, what is wrong with like? Yeah. But then, you know, looking at them now, they're not making much money. I make more in a month than some of them do in a year. So it's like, I don't know.
How did you get into the exterior cleaning and the pressure washing, that kind of business? Like, how did you first get into it?
Yeah, so that's a good story. I mean, I remember the first like book I ever like really like one of my buddies, like it was when I was 22, so only like 5 years ago. One of my buddies was like into MLM and stuff, so he's like, oh, you need to read all these books, like The Go-Giver, Think and Grow Rich, and I was like, but I don't want to do like multi-level marketing, but that just like sparked the the entrepreneurial like bug, because then I was reading like Gary Vaynerchuk and stuff, and like back in the day I was like, whoa, like you can like post on social media and like make money. I was like, for some reason it had never occurred to me. I was like living under a rock essentially. And so as soon as I started reading books, I was like, I tried like every business. I was trying to do fitness training, drop shipping, selling jewelry, selling teas, like the print on demand. And so I was trying to sell and blogging, YouTube, tried everything. And then I just came to the point where I was like, and so I eventually had to keep getting jobs. Like I worked pretty much every job you could think of. And then I was like, shit, I need to make money like tomorrow. I'm not going back to work. Like, what the fuck can I do? And so I knew about this other guy that was making $300 to clean gutters, and he's doing 3 of those a day, making $900 a day. I was like, whoa, like you can do that. Like I know I could do that. So went out, bought the equipment. Next day, just started knocking doors. Landed my 3rd door, and I was like, shoot, like I made more today than I would have made in a day or two in my old job. It wasn't much at the time. Like my first job that I ever landed was like $120, but still that seed of like the money. I was like, wow, I just like made money happen when it wasn't there. Didn't rely on anyone but myself, and like from there I was hooked. So
that's awesome. I started doing, I have a background in online marketing, so like Facebook ads and Google ads, that stuff all came really easy to me. And that's how I got most of my clients at first, for exterior cleaning, pressure washing. But one day I went out and knocked doors, and I had a similar kind of just like aha moment. You mean like all I have to do is step out of my front door and go knock doors for an hour. My first day door knocking, I knocked for 3 hours, and I earned $3,000 in booked jobs. So I was like, wait a minute, I just earned $3,000 in jobs in 3 hours. Like, it was just an aha moment for me. Yeah. And another thing I love about this business, and something that attracted me to it too, I have a similar story where I went out and like tried I've done everything. I started a million businesses. I have like 25 Facebook pages that are no longer used. I have 25 like websites that I'm like are garbage now. And I've tried it all. And then I came down to the same thing, like how can I make some money? And, the exterior cleaning is like a low barrier to entry. Literally anybody can do it. All you have to do is get out there, meet clients, and you can actually start generating income like tomorrow, which is really interesting about it. You don't need to have fancy equipment. You don't need to have fancy licensing, and you can learn as you go. And so that was a pretty awesome thing for me as well. So what services do you guys do mostly? Like what's like your bread and butter?
Yeah, I mean, like back into like the starting story, I tried doing pressure washing at first, and then I did a few jobs doing that, but then it just like people just kept asking like roofs and gutters, like do you do gutters, do you do roofs? And I was like, yes. So I mean, and then I was literally like YouTubing how to do it on the way to the job and stuff, like that whole story. And then, but I mean, I just being a yes man is really important in the beginning of your business. I remember someone else talking about this, and because now it's like you, me, obviously our time is a lot more limited. So being a yes man now is like a little bit more like you can't do it anymore. But back in the beginning, if you're broke, like you need to be saying yes to every opportunity. So so then I pivoted over to roofs and gutters, and then that was just when like the gates kind of opened up. Like that was the demand, that was the need. I like to say like, think of your city or your market as like a lock. You need to find the key that unlocks it, because obviously maybe down in San Diego, I'm not going to be like, hey, clean the moss off your roofs. There's like 3 roofs that maybe have moss, but like what else do people need? It's like solar panel cleaning, mobile car detailing. Like you said, there's money. Like literally just step outside your door, there's money. Like there's nice cars out here. You could clean cars. Like you gotta hustle. Like there's so much money out there,
Yeah. So what about your social media presence? I mean, you are like all over social media. Yeah, like hundreds of thousands on YouTube and like million on TikTok. So when did you start getting into the social media game from doing the home service businesses?
Yeah, I mean, that was fun too. I remember I did it for like, I was doing the home service for like a year or two, and then I was like, one day, I don't remember exactly what it was, it just like changed. I was like, I'm gonna post every day on social media, forever. I mean, for at least this year. And so that was the start of 2022. So yeah, just about like 2 years ago now.
Wow. And
so yeah, I mean, same thing, as with anything, with lifting, with business. Like it took like a few months of just seeing nothing. But I mean, I just knew that like something would happen if other people, like again, if other people are doing it, like guys that aren't better than me, they're not smarter, they're not whatever. I was like, if they can fucking do it, like I can do it. And so I think that's really important. Like people just think that like seeing someone on a screen, like, oh, of course they could do it. It's like, no, that dude's Like, trust me, like once you start meeting people, like now we're meeting people and it's like, okay, this guy's just a normal dude. So just posting and then being better. I mean, just, yeah, putting out content, whether or not it's like you feel like it or not. And then now it's like sometimes I don't post every day. But now, I mean, now I kind of like, I'm trying to write a little bit more. So I'm not working on my like 4th book too. So I have like a couple little ebooks just like teaching how to do it. So I like to write a little bit more because, I mean, everything stems from words. Like if you're good with words, like you mentioned, you're good with Facebook ads, Google. I mean, language is the code of like the universe essentially. So if you can write good, you can speak good, and you can get people to give you money, right?
Yeah. So are you have any kind of tips for people that are trying to, like myself, I'm trying to kind of like become more on social media and kind of continue to put out content and all the different platforms. So anything that you found interesting or surprising as you were kind of building your presence online?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's very like the environment changes very quickly. So I was talking to another guy yesterday, and like TikTok is a lot harder now. So I kind of like, I'm like, anyone who's just starting on TikTok right now, like I feel for you. It sucks. Like I used to post a video like a year ago, boom, 1 million views every single time. And it was just like easy mode. Now it's like the game is up to like expert mode. And it's like, I'll post a good video, a video that I know is good. And it's like 2,000 views sometimes. But that's where I think just like being consistent and like, also, I kind of pivoted away from like the entertainment content and just focus on educational. So there's people that I've followed since they had 14,000 followers and they're still doing 100K months or whatnot. So you don't need followers. You need like the quality of followers is so important. So I knew that very quick. I kind of realized that pretty quickly once I started like monetize a little bit more, like selling stuff. Like I could get a video that has 1 million views. But honestly, like most of those people that saw that video were not like my target market, honestly, kind of trash views. So now just teaching, like actually having like power in your words, like you can build a very loyal, good following very quickly too.
Yeah. So now you also have this kind of coaching business. So tell me about like your inner circle. Like what are you doing with that? You have inner circle, you have your courses, you have kind of ebooks. So what are you doing with your inner circle? Like what are they getting out of that?
Yeah, so a lot of guys like, so like kind of how we talked about with information, like so much I've already like, and for anyone else trying to grow like a YouTube or whatnot or TikTok, you should share everything because that's one of some things that I've learned from my old mentors in the past. You should share everything, obviously not like 100% because then there's a level that like is going to go over people's heads. Like when I record a training video that's 25 minutes long, I probably could have spent an hour on that, but like going over the basics. So the inner circle to me is really more about community, about other men being around each other, like talking to each other. And yeah, like posting our wins, like that's just like the momentum. Like obviously, yeah, we have like, private calls. We do like group coaching calls and like, hey, what was going on here? Like, oh, what happened here? Like we can do this better. But like just seeing other guys winning, just like we got guys who are 17 posting like, hey, I just made $1,000 today. And it's like, we got other guys in our group that are like 35, like, oh, I'm getting older. I can't do this. And it's like, well, shoot, these kids are crushing it. So I gotta step it up, So just seeing other men succeeding is like the best thing that anyone could do that's trying to be successful. Just surround yourself with other people, and it's gonna be very hard not to win. So,
what do you think about people that are kind of hesitant to take on coaches? How important has coaching and mentorship been for you?
Oh, I mean, it's like, I mean, just I keep going back to it, but like, man, we're just very hierarchical. We need leadership. Like you do sports as well. Most of us are doing sports. At least my father was very like strict. So but I respond really well to that. I respond to like, hey, you need to get this shit done. Like, what are you doing? Versus like, a lot of us have been raised by like these female teachers. They're like, oh, like, it's okay, sweetie. Like you can try again tomorrow. When it's like, a lot of times like us, man, like we need that. We need like, hey, what are you doing? Like fix this, like, and then it's going to be fine. So I respond really well to that. I don't know, a lot of other men do. So I think that's really important to find, what you resonate best with. Like maybe you do need the other style of coaching. I mean, we have a few girls in our group too, at least in the school community. But so that's important too.
You said school community?
Yeah, we just launched that. One? Yeah, we just launched the school. So
okay, how's that going? I've seen that's kind of getting a lot of traction. That's Alex Hormozi's new project. So tell us about that. What's that community been like?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a little bit. I mean, way more. It's probably the cheapest way to get out like inside one of my groups, but like it's cool. I mean, I'm still gonna be running like some calls there, like information, still like sharing wins and stuff. So I want to build like a good community because we've all been in like the free Facebook groups. Like those are fucking dog shit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
would not recommend. I mean, because you'll post a question and everyone's like, "Wow, you're an idiot!" Like, "Oh, what a fucking noob!" Like, and it's just like not a good group. So anytime people are just like in somewhere for free, it's like usually not a good spot to be.
Well, I learned about so I mean, I think Facebook groups can be super valuable.
Some of them can be good, yeah.
Yeah. But one thing I learned, and it took me a while to learn this, is that you realize if you post a question there, you don't know who's answering it.
Yeah.
And so you can have someone that's in their first year of business answering a question completely the wrong way when, you know, and then you don't know who that person is, how long they've been in business, what their credibility is. And so they give you the wrong advice and then you go out and do something wrong or you delay your learning a lot longer.
Yeah.
So it's good to be part of someone where you know who's answering the question. That's really important.
Yeah, very important to know that too, who you're learning from. So, I mean, and then back to the mentors and stuff too, like I kind of noticed this too, like, oh wow, all my mentors have all been like, you know, like in shape, like good looking, like dudes that I like respect. Like I respect them. And that's like a big thing with social media. Like, I mean, you can see it really quickly though. Everything's like energy. You can kind of tell when someone's energy is like off. Like I'll be watching a video that's like pretty good, like information, but like something about the guy is just like off. I'm just like, I don't trust this guy. So I don't know. I really like value that, you know, being other men where we can talk and you can see face to face. Like obviously like this is a much better connection there. And you know, I can trust this guy a little bit better. So the internet's a fucking weird place. Yeah.
Now you've got a really strong personal brand. So, you know, what is your personal brand? How has that impacted how your business has grown too? Like you're obviously focusing on that. Like, you could have focused on, like, what's your name of your business in Seattle?
Northwest Pro Wash.
So you could have made a YouTube channel called Northwest Pro Wash or Instagram Northwest Pro Wash, but you decided to do the personal branding thing. So why did you make that decision?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of always knew that, like, hey, if I build an audience, something's going to happen. Like, I don't necessarily know what. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be selling or who I'm going to be helping, but I know if enough people know me, I can figure something out. So, like, and then the home service thing too, it's like, it's really cool and I love it, but it's also pretty simple. Like I kind of got it down really quick, you know, learn how to run Facebook ads, have a good website, do basic SEO. If you need to, go knock doors. Getting customers is just like 1, 2, 3 steps. It's like not that hard. So then from there I was like, okay, well, if I can just, I mean, and then going down the path, I learned that, you know, I have been studying this for like years now. So it is a little bit easier. Like I'm still like doing training. It's kind of funny. I'm like, I've probably made like 100 videos on how to run Facebook ads, and I'll still get the question, you know, hey, how do you run Facebook ads? I'm like, okay, well, you got to remember, like, people are finding about you every single day. So like, you got to cater to those people. So yeah, personal brand is huge. And I've thought a lot about that too. Like, you know, do I want to have like a cool name? Like, you know, there's like Unbreakable Dads is this other guy in our group, and it's like I was like, that's kind of cool, but I was like, you know, Spencer Claeys is kind of cool, and I saw you finally got your account back, like you have 2, but your main one's verified now, so Alistair Shirazi, like that's good. You have your name, make sure you get like the domain name.com too, like that's I got spencerclays.com, so yeah, having your personal brand, your name out there, it's important.
Yeah, I made that mistake a lot of times in me trying to start my different businesses, and I realized like I am the business. You know, it's like I'm gonna, you know, Gary V mentioned it recently too, and he's like, if I had branded myself as Gary the wine guy, I would have been stuck into a box 10 years ago. Yeah. But now I'm Gary V, and this is what I do, and he's able to open up the doors. And I've transitioned so many different times, and I feel like that's why a personal brand is so important. Exactly. Because it's for eternity, basically.
Yeah. So. No, for sure. Like, yeah, Garrett, that's a great example. Yeah, the wine guy, because that was his first thing, and then now he's talking about other stuff. Because yeah, I mean, we all have different interests. I mean, we both do home service, but we work out and stuff. We like to do other things, and you know, we're still young, so we got so much time. Like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be stuck in a box. And building assets too is so important. Like your name is an asset. Like you are the business too, and having that domain name, having like your personal brand, it's gonna just keep growing. Versus like, you know, some of these little businesses, you may be able to, and you might want to be able to sell it too. Like imagine if like the Northwest Pro Wash brand, like if it's just me, like,
that's true.
Like then it'd be a little bit harder to sell eventually in the future. Versus like Spencer Claeys, obviously I wouldn't sell that unless I just saw like Shaq, like Shaquille O'Neal sold his likeness.
His likeness? Oh, really?
Yeah, because like I think like Elvis Presley and like Marilyn Monroe, like their likeness is like owned by like this big corporation, and he just sold it for. They couldn't get into numbers, but they estimated like close to $1 billion.
Damn.
So
well, Shaq's 62, so 60, probably like I don't know, maybe 60 years
I don't
old.
know.
So he's probably only like, I don't want to say that you only got a couple more decades left, and so at that point you're like, hey, if I can cash out for $1 billion, I think it's probably not a
and
bad
like
idea.
live forever to that whole thing too. Like Michael Jackson, like you go to Vegas right now and you can see a show with Michael Jackson. It's like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool.
Were you ever in sports? Did you ever do organized sports?
Yeah, I mean, I played soccer for. I was kind of my main. I was on the wrestling team. I was on the track team, and that's kind of what I pursued the most. Was like I threw javelin in college, so that was cool. But yeah, hurt my arm, and then that kind of sucked. But then you realize like, hey, like sports isn't everything. Like I want to be someone. I want to like make. I just want to make money too. At the time, I was just like tired of being broke, and I was like, everyone around me is broke. Like, what the fuck? Like, let's get out of here. So
yeah, I noticed a lot of people that have been successful have had an experience with a coach or organized sports, or just first of all, just being around a group of men that are in some competitive capacity. Yeah, and then secondly, having a coach where that person might be really hard on you, but you guys have the ability to win championships as a result. So that's also been a huge impact on me. I'm thankful for. I can remember all my coaches. I was in the military. I can remember my drill sergeant who told me I was a piece of shit. Yeah, told me I had tiny heart syndrome, and that made me want to run and push harder. That's funny. Yeah, I was running one time. It was like 5 a.m. and we were like running in the dark, and this motherfucker pulled up right next to me and he says, "What's wrong with you, Shirazi?" I said, "I don't know, sir. I don't know, drill sergeant." He said, "I know exactly what's wrong with you. You got tiny fucking heart syndrome, Shirazi." I was like, "Yes, drill sergeant. You got tiny fucking heart syndrome." And I remember after that time, like I hear those words like ringing in my head, and since then I'm just like, I'm gonna show this motherfucker who doesn't have tiny heart syndrome.
Forever, too.
Forever.
Like, yeah,
that shit echoes in my brain. And so drill sergeant King, he probably doesn't know who the fuck I am, but I'm always gonna remember him. Yeah. But having influential people like that are gonna push you really make all the difference in life. And a lot of people that have had the benefit of being around organized sports have that benefit. How much money is a lot of money for you? Like, what do you're ambitious, you want to make money, but how much money do you want to make?
Yeah, that's a great question too, because I've seen other people like, I think Chris Cronin said like, I don't want to be a billionaire, I want to be a trillionaire. I'm like, I don't, because I'm also really big and I don't even think like a billionaire. Like I don't really have, because at the same time like money is great, but at the same time like money is not really what we want. We want power, men want respect, we want status. And so I think like going to Mexico is a really cool, like humbling experience, because like a lot of people there have no money, but it's like, hey, it's like I have like so many like now new friends and family that it's like I have like a whole village. Like we got married, there was like 500 people there. It's like, awesome. This is what life is about. Like this is like having people, that is power. Like that is the coolest thing. And like, I don't know, I kind of just want to get like I mentioned earlier, I'm tired of the city. I want to move out. I want to have like a nice house in the woods. And so obviously right now, like my next goal is, probably like 100K right now per month. And so I want to be hitting that. And honestly, if I'm hitting that, we'll have goals past that, obviously. But like, I don't know, because I want to have a family. I want to be out in the woods and stuff. Like, I don't really want to be like this massive billionaire, but we'll see. There's a lot of cool projects that I really think would be awesome. It'd be cool to change the world in some small way. Like people like Elon Musk I really look up to, because that's really cool. He's like changing the world. So like driving the Tesla, it's like, wow, like I really do believe we can go to space now. Yeah. So we'll see.
How many kids do you want to have?
I want to have at least like 3 or 4. Yeah. So
what's the driving factor for wanting to have a family like that?
You got to carry on the name, got to carry on your legacy. Like these are your people that you can influence. And like, I feel like that's Mother Teresa said, if you want to change the world, start with your family, like start with like the people around you. So most people just have forgotten that. Most people, they're in single family homes and they're just broken households. And because like my wife, like her brother and his wife, they both work in like social work, and they see like transition houses from like juvie to like trying to get these kids out into society. Like these kids are like messed up. So it's like really sad to see, because it's like almost like when a kid is broken like that, it's almost permanent. Like some of those kids never go back. Like they're going to end up in jail again. So it's really sad. And obviously, like if someone's watching this, like you can definitely change your life, turn your life around at any time. But like I really want to have a good influence, be able to have a strong, good family, and be like a good man that they can look up to.
Yeah. One thing about a financial goal that I'm kind of realizing, well, I kind of just realized this last year, that one of the challenges of having a financial goal is if you set your mind on a particular goal, you'll eventually hit it. And that can be a good and a bad thing. For example, I was focused on hitting $1 million for my home service business in a year. And we'll likely come close to $1 million this year. And then, you know, so then I realized like, well, then what, you know? And so instead of planning like, you know, 12 months in advance, the most accomplished people have these really long, big, ambitious goals that take 5 to 10 years. And I have a hard time personally planning 10 years in advance because I can't even think that. I can't even think about what I'm having for lunch, let alone 10 years in advance. Do you start to develop your 5-10 year plan? Do you have a vision, or you kind of just like have a rough idea of where you go? How do you look at long-term planning?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Cause I feel like that as well with goals. It's like, I mean, I have hit every single goal that I've like written down. And so I definitely keep doing that. But I mean, also just like, I say this too, because I mean, I'll talk to a lot of people who, you know, they don't want to be entrepreneurs. They're happy with their job, and that's more power to them. But it's like, and we're gonna work until we die. Like we're gonna do some sort of work, and so as long as you find that work meaningful, it's like that's really all there is to it. I mean, I really just try and make sure that I do the work that I need to every single day. Like, you know, I write every single day. I practice Spanish every day. I like go to the gym. I mean, I don't go to the gym every day. And I hate people who say that, like, oh, I go to the gym every single day, and I look at them, and they're not even, like, big. It's like, no, you don't. I go to the gym, like, 4 days a week, you know, but I try and move. I move every single day. So, but just, like, really falling in love with the process, with the day-to-day, and then kind of seeing what happens, kind of, like, growing the audience. Like, I didn't really know. I think I remember I was like, oh, yeah, once I hit 10,000 followers, that's going to be awesome. But then, like, the month after that, I hit, like, 100,000 followers. I was like, oh, shit. Like, so, like, setting goals is almost meaningless for that. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have no fucking clue what's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. And then, or what if like I had hit 9,000? It's like, oh well, I'm not gonna be happy. But it's like then the next month maybe it was like 9,500, and then it's like you can't really measure your happiness on stuff you can't directly control. So yeah, I don't know. I just love the work and love doing it every single day. So
yeah, and you know, if you love the work, you're gonna go further. You know, like to walk. And I think it's important to think about your goals as the actions themselves, the things that you have in control, because, you know, like you said, if you set a goal, let's say $100,000 a month, well, you hit that and then you may not feel fulfilled because it seemed easy, or, you know, well, now you don't know what to focus on. But if you focus on doing the work and you focus on becoming a better person, and the goal really ends up being who you end up becoming in the process. And that's something I'm trying to, you know, continue to think about, because I don't always get the results that I'm looking for in the time frame that I'm looking for.
Yeah, it gets frustrating. Yeah,
it's so frustrating. But if you realize, you look back at the things that you were able to accomplish and things that you did, the work that you put in, and you realize that changed you as a human, and that changed you as a person, that you can then, you know, have the confidence that you're able to do those things. That's a big thing that I've kind of learned too. So do you have you thought about like where you want to be in 5 years from now, or 10 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, I really do like working with people, but I also like, it is kind of like, I can see why a lot of people, you know, sell their business, cash out. I think as men, we have like, I mean, we're also, how old are you? You're 36,
36.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, we're still so like relatively young. Which I don't feel young. I still feel like, because I'll talk to like.
How about you? How old are you?
27. Okay. So I'll talk to guys like Steven, and he's like 23. I'm like, fuck, like this guy's like young. But then I was listening to another podcast. He's like, I mean, just by all statistics, like most entrepreneurs don't really hit their swing until like 42. So it's like, I have no idea what we're gonna start or accomplish. But like, I just know, I mean, as long as I do the work every day, something's gonna happen. So I want to keep like writing books and keep like helping people, and then, you know, the more money that comes in, you know, like there's going to be different, like I also believe, you know, God like kind of lays the path out in front of you. Like the reason I'm here today is because our house flooded like last week. I wasn't even like, so I was like, shit, well, I'm not going to stay here. I might as well just like head out. And so go on the road. And so there's been a lot of things where I just feel like God is kind of leading me down in a certain way. So you just kind of got to follow the path out in front of you. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad your house flooded.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm too. I mean, we're renting, so it's not a big deal. I mean, that's one good thing about renting. So not a problem. I mean, money fixes anything, so we just buy it or we just rent a hotel. It's like, who cares? So, I mean, I remember sleeping in my car like when I was first started this business, broke as shit. But, driving past like all the homeless people and they're sleeping in their cars. And I was like, I remember that too. But I actually like went out and did something about it. So
yeah. What is the biggest challenge you've encountered when you're growing your business? Either your coaching side of your business or the actual home service side. What are some of the challenges you encountered along the way?
Yeah, I think it's just like, it's usually, I mean, the expectation of like, hey, this should be working, but it's not, or like, and also just like, it's just the emotion, like the fear sometimes, like when you let that and the thoughts get into you. I'm reading this interesting book, like you've obviously heard of like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, but another book that he wrote was called Outwitting the Devil. And it came out in like 2011, but he wrote it in like 1938. And it's about this like the big spiritual battle between like he basically interviews the devil, and like the devil basically kind of goes into like how he controls like 98% of the earth. And so it's really interesting to read. And so I feel like a lot of the times with business, like now that I'm thinking about it, like, oh, that little voice, you know, it's like, that is like the fucking devil. It feels like he's like, oh, you can't do this. So realizing that we're in a spiritual war too. Like there's a war for our mind, for our attention, for everything. So that's why, it's really important to be around good men. Like I went out door knocking yesterday with one of my buddies, and door knocking.
Did you in
like,
San Diego?
We went up in like LA, like Costa Mesa area.
So you one of your inner circle people or something?
Yeah.
So you went up, got on the ground and start knocking doors with him?
Yeah, I was like, fuck, because he's got a business up there, and I was like, dude, let's film a video. I was like, we're gonna knock doors until we get a job, and he had said this too. He was like, oh yeah, I hate knocking doors by myself, but knocking doors with a buddy, it's awesome. So because there were some times where like there's people like, hey, like, and then we're filming too. It's like, hey, why is there a camera here? Like, get that out of here. Like, oh, go away. And it's like, it wasn't that bad. Like door to door is not that scary, but like it is like if I was alone, it would be kind of like I mean, it's very uncomfortable. It's not fun, but with another buddy. So like that's really important, surround yourself with good friends. Like, so
yeah.
I don't know.
Any other challenges that you've encountered along the way? Things that were like really hard or maybe surprised you when you were trying to build your business? Has been pretty smooth, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, just knowing that like, if someone else can do this, like I can do it. So I've never been like too worried about the goal. I'm like, hey, if I just don't fucking quit, I can get it. Like same with doors, like door knocking, like, cause I kind of talk a lot about doors, like how I don't really like think door knocking is the best. I mean, it's a great way to get started, but I mean, if you're the CEO and you're out there knocking doors, like you should be growing the business, focusing on systems. You can't knock doors for your business up in Humboldt County or 800 miles away or 600, whatever. So focusing on systems, that's where like Facebook ads and Google ads is really important. But still, like the process of door to door is really good. It strengthens you as a man. It teaches you how to overcome these challenges. And so you realize, like, you know, nothing's really against me. Like the universe is not against you. You just haven't approached the right doors. That you haven't kept going long enough. If you just knock enough doors, you will get a yes. Like it doesn't matter what the last person said. If they said no, they could have been having a bad day. They're not mad at you. The next person might not even be home. So you can't really think about all these things as like it's your problem. Like, that's very egotistical as well. Like, oh, everyone's like thinking about me. Everyone's like looking at me. It's like, no, dude, no one's fucking thinking about you. No one cares about you. So like once you kind of shed that weight, you're like, oh wow, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And so I'm just gonna do whatever I need to do to win. So
yeah. What are some of your favorite influencers or YouTubers or people like who do you find inspiration from? Authors, people that you watch. Who are some of your favorites?
Yeah, I've been really listening to like the Ali Abdal. Like he has like a YouTube channel. He's got some really good people on there. So, I mean, recently some books and stuff I've read. I'm trying to think because, yeah, everyone says like, you know, the main guys, but like I feel like I like to, like, there's this guy Lee Priestley in Australia. He was really cool. Nathan Barry was on the podcast recently. I listened to a podcast with like Ryan Holiday on it as well, and like they've all written books. They're all writers, which I really want to kind of eventually like be in that category of, because I do like to read. That's like one of my favorite things. So I really like writers, and so. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else at the top of my head though.
Okay, all right. So what else do you like to do for fun? Are you are you focused, like how much of your time do you spend on your business, and how much do you spend on other things like hobbies, even family, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't really spend. I think anyone who says like, hey, I work 16 hours a day is lying, even if they say 8 hours a day, even like 4 hours a day, like reading like Dan Kennedy's book, like Time Management for Entrepreneurs. Like there was like CEOs, like they'd like asked like a bunch of CEOs, like, and they did a survey, like the actual amount of productive, like actual work that these guys were doing was like 40 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Like 40 like solid minutes. And so I kind of took that little nugget from that book. I didn't even read the rest of the book. Dan Kennedy's another great person. If anyone's like trying to get into marketing, like definitely check out Dan Kennedy. But like that really stuck with me. Like, okay, 40 solid minutes a day is like really all I need to do. So if I hit those 40 solid minutes, obviously, I mean, if you sit down at your desk, like in your office, like you might be there for hours and you're dinking around, you pull up TikTok, and it's like, then so you get distracted. But I really try and work. I mean, I have my main tasks that I need to do every day. So I'll get those done. I got my guys, you know, I'll usually chat with them. And now I'm trying to build like some other teams and stuff, like I got a guy in the Philippines and some guys over in India that help me like with website stuff and like all that. So I'm trying to grow, trying to manage other people. But now, like I was talking to Kyle yesterday, who I was door knocking with, and he'd something about, I don't remember what it was, but he's like something about math. And I was like, oh, I don't even know how to do math anymore. Like I don't do math. He's like, what? You don't do math? I was like, no, I got other people, like one of my workers is super smart. Like Jonah's really good with it. And then like, you know, Bavia's really good with SEO. Like Nate's my sales guy. So it's like, I think it's kind of funny. The more you grow as like an entrepreneur and like a leader, the less competent you become. Cause it's like, okay, I shouldn't be doing that. I should just be focusing on the visions, like being the leader. Like I shouldn't be doing any of that stuff. So it's kind of funny to see what work drives the business forward versus doesn't. So
yeah.
And that's a hard thing to get in your head. Like what work, like the 80-20, what is actually driving the business forward? So spending your time on that. You know, it was like a long answer, but
yeah. So, do you do other things? Do you think do you have other hobbies right now too that you're working on, or kind of is it mostly business?
Mostly, yeah, it's like that's what I like to do.
I'm the same way. Like my hobbies are business. I love. I mean, you know, you have something that you're interested in and passionate about, and that's what you enjoy doing. You like making money. That is a hobby in itself. You know.
Exactly. And I mean, I like to go fishing, and we'll go snowboarding and stuff too, and hiking and. Traveling a little bit too, but like, yeah, within a few hours I get like, I need to work, dude. I need to like, cause even we went to like Europe for the honeymoon, and I was just like, after a week or two, I was like, I need to get back in my office. Like even now I'm like, we're on the road. I'm like, I want my office. Yeah. I like my routine and stuff. So I don't know, but yeah, hobbies, I think I will definitely pursue more when I'm like 65 probably. Like, okay. I mean, I like to fly fishing and stuff too, but now it's just like, you know, it's hard too once you're seeing success. It's like, hey, I know if I post a video right now, I could potentially make however much money, like thousands of dollars if I make a good video. So it's like, shit, well, am I really going to go take the day off and go snowboarding with the buddies or go fishing when I'm going to be missing out on that? So it does kind of suck, and you got to kind of come to your own like balance as a man.
Yeah.
Like because obviously I think it's a little silly. Like some people who are like, oh, I don't touch dishes. I don't touch the laundry. I don't touch anything. I have a housekeeper every day. I don't do anything except wake up and work. I'm just like, that's just kind of lame. Like I don't mind doing dishes, like simple tasks. Like it's kind of fun. You kind of zone out. So I don't know.
You mentioned that you have your daily tasks that you need to complete every single day. Do you have a daily routine that you go through, like a list, or do you? How do you focus on what you're doing every day in a given day?
Yeah, that's a good one too. There's a book by Ben Settle. He has like this whole series. It's like the villain Secrets of Persuasion is one of them. Like, and then like it's like the villain series. So he has this. It's pretty cool. He like equates like being a villain in life because like the hero is always reacting to like the villain. The villain's always the most powerful, smartest, and he always has a plan and he makes it happen. Like often it'll take the whole team of superheroes to take down one villain. But obviously the villain and also the villain and the hero have like the same backstory. Like they both had their parents killed, but the villain's like, I want to make the rest of the world feel my pain, versus the hero's like, I want no one else to feel this pain. And that was kind of a long explanation, but like he wrote those books, and he had said that like the first few hours of his day is like his alone. He spends it, and he doesn't do any client work. And so I've kind of taken that. I don't talk to I don't do any calls until like probably like 11 or so in the morning. So that's when in the morning I wake up, I write, I make videos, do website work, and then by 11 then I'll talk to people and stuff. And because I mean I'm pretty extroverted, so I could talk, but the morning, if you can kind of do those couple hours, and then still too, like I have this new app, it's called Streaks. You can like press hey, I like did this task today. And so like yesterday I hadn't made a video until like literally like 11:45 at night. I'm like quickly made a video, and it didn't happen until the end of the day, but obviously, you know, we're busy. So but as long as the work got done during that day, that's really important. So focusing on those little tasks every day.
Are you putting out content every single day? Like, do you have a commitment to yourself where you're posting every single day?
I do not. I mean, most of the time I do, but yeah, right now I'm like really just like, hey, just every single day, put a video out, write 500 words, practice Spanish, and then those are my 3 main ones right now that I'm just like really into, because I always kind of do them, and some days I'll sit down and I'll write 2,000 words, and then other days it's just like kind of a struggle. But I think showing up every day is really important. And even the gym too, like shitty workouts are really important too, because like sometimes you go to the gym, you're like, I don't want to be here, like this sucks. Like you go there for 30 minutes, you do a little bit of workout, and you go home. But as long as you went, you did something, because then the next day it's like, oh wow, I feel great today, I'm gonna work out all day and like get a really good pump in. And I think I learned that too in like track, like javelin. It was the weirdest thing. Like some days everything could be going great, but just something about your body was off. You're just not throwing well. Like something was just not right. So then you just realize, hey, it's okay. Next time, like when your body's just like right. I think like real top athletes, they can probably tap into that a little better. But for me, it's more of like an amateur. Some days you're just off, and that's totally fine. Do your best, but then like the next day, I mean, that's when some days it just calms, it just flows. Like you make a banger video, or you hit a great ass workout, and just like, wow, that was amazing. Yeah, it's not gonna be like that every day, so it's okay though.
Yeah, especially with the gym, I think the routine is so important. A few years ago I learned that it's much easier to go 5 days a week than it is to go 2 days a week, because it's like when you have to go 2 days a week, you're breaking up your schedule. You know, you are interrupting your regularly scheduled programming to go to the gym. But if you're going 5 days a week, that is your regularly scheduled programming. Like you go every single day before, you know, at a certain time, and then it becomes hard to miss it even, you know. So finding that routine, especially if you don't want to, making those 30-minute workouts, sometimes it's so important, and like overall, the whole picture. Yeah, it's such a big factor. So,
yeah, momentum is huge with anything. Mm-hmm. Like it's interesting when you think about Newton's law of motion. Like that applies to anything. Like whether you're working, whether you're going to the gym, whether you're making content on the internet, it's like, because everything's energy. We going back to that. It's like, so are you moving forward or are you not? Did you move forward today or did you not? That's what you kind of gotta know. And the second, and going back to that one book too, Outwitting the Devil's biggest trick is like getting people to drift. That's what he calls it. Or in the book they call it drifting. And like as soon as he mentioned that, I was like, wow, that's most people. They just kind of just drift through life. They don't have any goals. They don't have anything that they're thinking about. They're not doing anything. It's like you and me, we have goals. We think every day, did I get what I need to do done? Yes. Like, okay, good. If not, then at least let's fucking hit it even better tomorrow. So most people just don't even think about it at all.
Yeah. For the home business side, we got about 10 minutes left. A couple quick questions. For the home service side, what tips do you have for someone looking to grow their business in pressure washing or roof cleaning, gutter cleaning?
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like there's, in my inner circle, I have like really like 3 to 4 stages. Like first stage, if you're not doing, know anything yet, start knocking doors, get some clients, get at least figuring out what you want to do. And then if you already know, like if you already have a business, then it really just comes down to like your how many clients you need, how many jobs you need. You just need more leads. That's lead generation is your main problem that you need to tackle. If you can crack that, you can be like Alistair here, like living in San Diego, 600 miles from your business. You can crack the lead generation. So it just depends on your time frame. If you're a little more long term, like this is more of a side hustle, building up your Google, your website, really important because SEO is like if you can get on page 1, like you're getting free leads. It's free money coming in. So Google SEO is super, super important. I got a team now working on mine. That's another thing I tried to do myself for the longest time. And I was like, oh, I'm all right at it. But it's like seeing what these guys can do. I'm like, fuck, I should not even have tried. Like, it's funny. But, and then for kind of the middle stage, like if you're just trying to get clients quick, and I still do this to this day, is Facebook ads. Facebook ads is one of the best ways to get money in. Because usually when people come to me, they're like, hey, I need to make money. Well, you probably need to do Facebook ads because SEO takes a few months, if not years, to really like get going. So, but obviously, if you're dead broke, you should be knocking doors. So figure out which method works for you to get leads in, and that's the most important thing because the work is not hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could take any random person off the street and teach them how to clean gutters right now. You could teach probably a bonobo monkey how to do it. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's not the work isn't that hard. It's getting the leads in.
Yeah, I love Facebook ads.
Yeah.
I love Facebook ads because you can literally go from 0 to generating leads in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a Facebook page with a lot of people on it. You don't need to have, crazy amount of content. And it's free to start a Facebook page. And a lot of times they don't bill you. You can set up your billing to be like every $500. And by the time you spend $500, you may have already generated $5,000, $10,000 worth of revenue.
Yeah.
Facebook ads is like a freaking life hack.
Yeah.
And it's so easy.
Yeah.
And people, they just would rather focus on like, oh, let me get this new amazing soft wash machine, or let me get this new amazing truck with this fancy wrap. And like, do you know how to do Facebook ads? Like, can you generate? And the Facebook ads thing is like, the Facebook ads is one part of it, but obviously like the back end is so important too. Like we use High Level. Are you using High Level?
Yeah, I'm up on it now. So
yeah, there's just so much to it, but it's so easy. And I feel like that's one of the biggest life hacks is you can go from idea to lead generation in hours, as opposed to Google, which can be very expensive, higher learning curve. You need to have a nice website. You need to have all these different things. So that's a lot harder and it takes longer to get going. But Facebook, from idea to lead generation in a few hours, which is amazing.
Yeah, you're right. Like almost nothing beats it, except if you're like a behemoth with Google. But like, because there's like the marketing triangle is like 97% of people either don't need your solution, they don't care, they don't even know about you. Only like 3% of any given market is like actively looking for a solution. So Facebook is targeting the 97% of people. Mm-hmm. So that's where like, because if you can bring that idea to someone's mind, like, oh yeah, I do need that today, then you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And that's kind of the difference between Facebook and Google, where you have Facebook is almost like TV marketing. When you're watching a TV show,
it's interruption marketing.
Marketing, right? You see a TV show and you're like, oh, maybe I'm interested in that. Whereas Google marketing is like, hey, I need this services. Who's available?
Yeah, search marketing, direct marketing. Like, search versus interruption. So if you can kind of figure out, if you can crack interruption marketing, you'll be set for life. Because also too, you realize it's not necessarily the platform. Like if Facebook got deleted tomorrow, there's going to be another platform that's going to replace it.
There has to be, yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be a way to purchase attention. That's what we're doing. We're purchasing attention. So if you can purchase that, if you can get good at that, then you're never going to have to worry about money or leads, which, that's the most important thing.
Great. And what's a tip that you can give for someone like just getting into the industry? Like, should they start in the home service business? Do you think?
I feel like if you are, it depends. Like you got to know what you like to do. Like if you don't like to get up on ladders, if you don't like to work outside with your hands, like that's fine. Probably do something else. But if you're a man like looking to make money as quick as possible, get to 10K per month, like absolutely home service is like the best way to do that. So, because then it's like then you learn so much and you get so much like better at the business game, then you can do whatever you want. Because like we see all these people like peddling like crypto or like drop shipping and stuff. And it's like for a lot of those things, you need like thousands of dollars to start. You need like you're competing with people in Dubai that have this next level game. It's like you're not gonna be able to compete with those guys. But now once you have like you and me have more business skills now we got more money coming in. Now if we want to go do that stuff, we can hire mentors and we can get in better rooms. Like it all starts with just getting money in the door, starting working at the business, and like home service is a great way to do it. Because I mean, what do people not want to do? Most people don't want to get outside and clean roofs or clean gutters. But if you can do what people don't want to do, you're gonna go far in life.
Yeah. So what do you have planned in San Diego? You got anything fun planned, or just kind of playing it by ear?
Yeah, we'll probably go to the beach, take the dog out. He likes to run on the beach. I love to walk and go swimming and stuff. So
how about this weather, huh? It's not like this in Seattle right now.
Oh no, like I'm like fuck. I don't come down here more often, but
I know it's so beautiful here, man. We're so blessed. It's like the beautiful sunny day in San Diego in February. Yeah, and it's been like this. We haven't even. I feel like our winter hasn't even started yet.
Just a couple, it's gonna rain tomorrow. Like everyone's
supposedly,
we
get a couple storms once in a while. Yeah. Everything floods, everyone freaks out, and then we just get over it and move on.
Yeah, and that's cool too. You were able to like work the business remotely too. I mean, I haven't spent December in Washington for like 5 years. So as soon as the home service season's kind of over, and that's a big question I get. It's like, oh, what do you do during the winter? It's like, well, I don't work. I make enough money during the year, and then I go chill. I go to Mexico for like the whole month or whatever. So being able to having that flexibility, you don't have a boss, you don't have to ask anyone anything. It's awesome.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, Spencer, anything else you want to say to people?
I mean, just like there's literally, it's all in your mind. It's literally just like, what are you doing every single day? Like there's no reason that you can't be successful. Like there's guys, you'd be surprised, like some of the people out there that are making more money than you, they're more successful. They're not any more special than you, and you can get after it, dude. So
I love that. And one of my favorite quotes is like from Rocky, who was like, "He's human. He bleeds like you bleed."
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And these are humans. People are not smarter than you. They're not. They just took action and they stuck with it, and they had the tenacity and the grit and the grind to keep going when they didn't know that it was going to produce results. And if they can do it, you can do it too.
Yep. Definitely.
Spencer, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Alistair.
Enjoy your time in San Diego.
We will.
Follow Spencer Claeys. He's all over TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything. Follow him everywhere, please. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been the A-Lister Show, and we'll catch you next time.